Welcome to those who are new this week, and welcome to those of you who joined last session. We're going to do a yoga practice today which is largely seated, so a fairly chilled, relaxing sequence of movements. We will recap that little sun salutation we did just to get our bodies moving a bit and to get some blood flowing through the limbs, but largely we're going to be seated today. Welcome to those that are new, and welcome back those who attended last week. We're going to do a yoga practice today which is largely on the floor, so seated and lying and fairly chilled, and hopefully a way of relaxing. It might be a nice practice to do close to bedtime, to chill out. Maybe you've finished your homework and you want to find a way of switching off from your day. So we're going to start with breathing. We're going to think, last week we were thinking about where in the body we might breathe, and this time we're going to think about sort of the rhythm of the breath and how that maybe can affect your mind and your mood. So first of all, just increasing the length of your inhale and your exhale. So just come to, without changing anything first, come to a bit of awareness of how long it takes you to breathe in and how long it takes you to breathe out, and try and regulate your breath in and out. Breathe in and out through your nose. And if at the moment you can count to 3 on the way in and 3 on the way out, do that a couple of times. And then increase it. So this is just literally a breath extension exercise. So then increase it to 4 on the way in. You might be breathing a bit more fully. You might be more spacious in your breath. You might find that you don't ever completely breathe to the full extent during a day. It might be the first time you take a really deep breath in. Slowly breathe back out, and then see if you can take it up to 5 or even 6. So rather than thinking about where you're sending your breath, just be aware what happens when you breathe. Where do you fill? Can you feel it in your ribs? Can you feel it in your shoulder blades? Can you feel it in your belly? And then we're going to think about holding the breath at the top, so a breath retention on this. So this again is quite good when you can't get to sleep at night. So it's like a triangle. You breathe in the one side of the breath, then you hold at the top, and then you breathe out. So breathing in through the nose. Hold your breath on full. And then breathe out, maybe through the mouth. So that you hear it through kind of pursed lips. If you've ever played a recorder, it's that sort of feeling. So breathe in through your nose. Hold your breath. And then breathe out. 3 to go up one side of the triangle. It's the triangle standing on its head, the point of it. Breathe in, hold your breath, and breathe out. Do that one more time. Breathe in, hold your breath, breathe out through the pursed lips. Another image you can use when you have that blowing out is like you're trying to make a candle just flicker. So you're blowing constantly with an even thread of breath on the way out. So already I can feel that that has calmed me. You have a sense that the breathing helps your breath, your whole body, your brain, your state of mind just to come down a notch, hopefully. So we're going to go back to just starting to move our back whilst we're in this seated position. You might be a bit stiff sitting with your legs cross-legged, so you might just bring them out again and then cross them the other way. Now think about actions of the spine. We're going to coordinate our breath and our movement at the same time. Breathe in and bring your hands up through the middle. And stretch up and hold your breath like we just did. And then breathe out through your mouth. Breathe in, you can send it up through the centre. Clasp your hands and hold your breath. And then breathe out through your mouth. One more of those. Don't want you to hyperventilate. Breathe in. Hold on full. And breathe out. Feel the shoulders drop away from your ears. We're just going to move the chin down. And then carve like a smile across your chest. So you're moving your chin across the front of your body. And then up. You might just open your mouth a little bit. If your chin won't touch your chest. With your collarbone. Just open your eye. I can't speak now. Open your mouth a little bit so you can feel that going across from one side to the other, getting your neck moving. And then hold your head gently in your hands and take your head backwards. Arms, getting a bit of a stretch around the armpits, the upper arms, shoulders. I like you're strung from the ceiling, from the points of your elbows. Breathe up there. And then bring the chin back to the chest. We did this arm action last week. This big expansive wings. And then this is eagle pose. So you're going to cross the arms one over the other. You're going to bind your arms around and find your hands. If that's too much, bring your hands to here. You can breathe in and lift up. Remember, we're connecting our breath and our movement with these initial poses. Finding that settling. It's all about being soft today. Breathe in. Even when we do our sun salutations, we're not going to get too energetic. We're going to keep it soft, mindful, you might say. Breathe in, lift up. Breathe out. Settle that down. Separate the arms out wide. So we're going to come onto our hands and knees. And we're going to come to this pose where we sit our hips back to our heels. Bring your toes together, your knees out. And then send your hips back to your heels and stretch your hands out in front of you. Plant your head. Take a long breath in through your nose. And a long breath out through your mouth. Like a sigh. And feel your whole chest and upper back just collapse down as you sigh out through your mouth. Breathe in through your nose. Sigh out through your mouth. One more time. No one can see you or hear you. I said this last week. That's the beauty of getting to practice at home. It's your thing. Breathe out through your mouth. You're going to move one hand off to the side, put the other hand on top, and then sink your head again. Drop down. Take a breath in. And a breath out. Still doing this, breathing out through the mouth. Hand to the other side, hand down, drop the head. Breathe in. Breathe out through your mouth. Bring yourself back onto your hands and knees. And you're here. Instead of doing cat and cow, we're going to spin ourselves around in circles here. So we're getting into the shoulders and the hips to move in this circular action. So remembering they're our only ball and socket joints in the body. Our shoulders and our hips have got kind of rounded ends to the ends of your humerus, which is the upper arm bone, and your femur, which is your thigh bone. And they end with a ball and they're sat in a socket. So circling in this kind of motion is really nice to sort of oil the joints. It's literally what you're doing. You've got synovial fluid in there. You want to keep everything all lubricated. So we're going to press into our toes and our fingers, and we're going to come up to that downward dog shape that we did last week. Drop your head. When you first come up, keep the weight on your toes and keep really bent in your legs. And then sink the head a little bit further down and look back at your own toes or your ankles.
We're really thinking of elongating the back here. And then in this position, take a breath in through your nose. And then breathe out through your mouth. And feel your shoulders sink. Do that again. Breathe in through your nose. And breathe out through your mouth. And then walk very carefully towards your hands. I'm going to keep my legs bent and I'm going to hang over here. Hold on to your elbows and drop your head. And let your head be the weight at the end of your spine. So if you've been sitting or standing all day, this inversion, when we get our head lower than our heart, and we use the weight of the head, will help to lengthen out the spine. And folding forward like this is very calming. We don't want to stay there too long. Draw yourself up. So actually you get a lot of blood pooling to your head. It might be counteractive, might weigh you up. Draw your shoulders up by your ears. Roll them back and back down. So we're going to do those little sun salutations nice and calmly, just to get the body sort of moving in every direction, and then we'll very soon go back down to the floor. So this is a nice relaxing session. But it doesn't mean we can't be active. And I want you to think of this as like a big yawn and a stretch as you reach up towards the ceiling. And then open out your body. Bend at your knees, but keep your spine really long as you reach down towards the floor, and then just let your head tuck in towards your knees. And then bring your hands to your knees and send your head out. It's like a tortoise coming out of its shell. Reach forward, a bit more weight in your toes, and see if you can lengthen your spine out. So moving slowly. Bring your fingertips down to the floor and take that right leg all the way back out behind you. Take a long stretch here. Runner's lunge. Bring your knee down to the floor, and we're going to carefully walk our weight back and bring ourselves up. Take a couple of leaning actions, dropping the weight forward into that front foot. Open up your hips. Again, if you've been sitting, then it's good to open up the front of your hip flexor. Just going to visit the back of our mat a little bit. So put your hands down either side, turn your toes back up and stretch out the back of your leg. And you can maybe drop your head down a little bit here. You might sit a bit further back into your heel, you might move your hands away to open the back of your leg. And then you're going to walk yourself back forward. Not doing a huge amount of stretching, just keeping the body mobile. Draw yourself up. Keep the hand that's the same as your front leg here, and you can tuck your elbow right into over your hip and take this hand up. And we're going to go away from your back leg. So stretching out your side body, easing yourself out here. Bring your hand back down to the floor, and we're going to take this leg back to join the other one at the back of your mat. Bring your shoulders forward, lower yourself down. It's not about doing press-ups, we're just being careful to lay ourselves into the floor. Walk your feet, they're your feet, aren't they? Feet to the back of your mat. And then we're going to very carefully take the arms wide, lift your chin, lift your chest. Notice how slowly I'm moving today, snail's pace. Lift up, over the body, everything is just like a lazy stretch. Bring yourself back down. Press back, we're going to visit our child's pose, this little folded up place. Drop your head. Sink into the floor. Take a breath in and a breath out. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders, tuck your toes, send your hips up, and you can think about getting your feet a bit flatter, maybe this time. Perhaps try and walk on the spot and see if you can get your feet a bit flatter into the floor. And then take up that pose to drop the head. Look to the front where you're going, rise up onto your toes so you've got a bit of energy, bend your knees and step nice and lightly to the front. We're going to come up with an easy spine, keep the arms reaching back and use momentum of your arms swinging through to bring you up effortlessly. Reach up tall and come back to this mountain posture place here where we feel grounded, nicely vertical. One more of those. breathing. We're going to really concentrate on taking all this oxygen in and breathing out, reaching forward. You might come with straight legs depending how your hamstrings, which is these muscles at the back of your legs, are feeling. So you drop down. Take your hands to your knees maybe and lift and lengthen here, or you might be able to reach the floor. Be like this. We're going to step back with the left leg now, so that we do everything we on one side, we do on the other. We keep ourselves nice and symmetrical. Well, we're aiming that way. No one is going to be completely symmetrical, but we're trying to go for that as much as we can to keep in balance. Bring your knee down to the floor and draw yourself up. So we've done, and repeat what we've done on one side, on the other. Sink down, roll your shoulders back. Keep everything nicely aligned and soft. So try not to have too much tension in your body, because we're trying to ease out our body at the end of the day. Coming back, we're going to visit the back of the mat. Remember, we're going to claw our hands onto the floor to give ourselves some balance. And sit back, so your body weight comes back into that heel, and you're going to flip the toes back if you can, to try and get some length in the back of your legs. Span your hands nice and wide, and drop your head down a little bit. Draw your head down. Just that bit more. Reaching forward, come back onto this foot. You're going to sink those hips down. Now this elbow, I'm tucking it right into my side so I can balance this side and lift the other side up. We're going a little sideways action here. Reach over, away from your back leg. This is going to stretch a muscle called your psoas muscle. And when we relax and lengthen that, then that helps us to relax. There's lots goes on physiologically in our bodies that we don't really appreciate, we don't really know a lot about often. So bring yourself forwards, reach, and then sink down. Turn the toes over, put the tops of your feet down, span your hands a little bit wider, and then lift. So you can come up one vertebra at a time. So your backbone, not a backbone, is it? Your spine isn't a bone, it is many bones. You're going to snake up gradually, rather than just hinging in one place. Try and make it a really gentle curve. It might not be that you come up that far and don't have an end place where you want to be. We're going to lift once more. Breathe in, come up, might only come to here. You might go, oh, I'm going a bit further, oh, a bit more of my back is involved now. Lift and lengthen, and come back down. Press into the floor, come back into child's pose. Sit back, this is all about moving slowly. Swing around side to side. And then come onto your hands and your knees. So I told you we're going to keep down on the floor for most of this session. So now I want you to bring your leg, I'm going to do my left leg. You may do your left leg too, or you might want to do the one that's further away from me if you're sideways on. Bring it to your wrist and then sit down. So I'm just sitting on my heel and the other toe is stretching out behind me. Come on to my fingertips here and lift up. I might tuck my toe under, see if I can lift my knee out. Take a stretch, and I'm stretching the front of my thigh out here, opening the front body. And then you can bring that knee back down, and you can come into your hands. And you can slide that knee back into place. We're going to do that same leg once more, slightly differently. Bring that knee across and see if you can bring your heel towards the other hip. So then when you sit down, you've got a different feeling in this side. So this is called pigeon pose. When we sit like this, you might again see if you can lift your chest up a little bit, broaden them through the elbows and sit here. Then we're going to lie ourselves down onto your elbows, or all the way down so your head comes on the floor. And breathe. Don't forget that it's all about the breath. And this is us settling our bodies. Pressing into the floor, coming up. I'm not going to stay too long in the poses. You might stay longer than this. You Always pause the video if you're playing back. So we're going to do the one here where we've just got it in line. So we'll have a parallel leg. Sit on your heel, tuck the toe under maybe, come up, stretch, lift your chin, have a wriggle around. Particularly when we do this kind of slow, soft, releasing type practice, it's quite nice to wriggle about a bit. Press your hands into the floor. You're going to come back to that kneeling place. Then revisit. Same leg comes forward, but this time you're going to bring your heel across towards the opposite heel, so a little diagonal, across to the opposite hip, rather. Can't talk tonight, so relaxed. Sit down and open wide. Keep that heel on top, press and lift up. And try and keep my hips square. So in other words, both of them here, no twisting going on in the body. And then onto the elbows. Keep a nice long spine. Nice long leg out the back. And then bring yourself down and rest the forehead into your hands. And breathe into the back of your body and your shoulder blades. Try that sighing out breath. Breathe in through your nose. Breathe out through your mouth. One more of those. Breathe in through your nose. Breathe out through your mouth. Draw yourself back up. Coming up. Bring your legs back underneath you. And maybe just ease out those hips, just swinging them again, maybe in this circular action that we did earlier, or just from side to side. And we're going to come to sit. Cobbler's pose. I'm not giving you lots of names of poses. I'm not going to worry about that when we're doing a couple of sessions. Just going to work through various things. But this place, you've got your feet together and your knees out to the side. You can hold around the front of your toes, and then you've got something to hang on to lift against. It's like you pull against your toes, and you see how much you can climb out of your hips. It's like your spine is trying to grow taller. And then we're going to do some seated poses here. So take your right foot out forward in front of you, and keep your left right in towards your thigh. So if I was against a wall, the back of my pelvis is flat against the wall here, no twisting. And we're going to come forward over this front leg. So first of all, walk your hands out, but try and keep your chin lifted and look at your toes. And then walk your hands back. Do a couple of versions of this. And then nod your head around your back and see if you can get your head a bit closer to your knee. So those are the two kind of extremes. Rolling down or lengthening forward. See when you lengthen forward this time, if you can go around, hold somewhere, maybe your toes. You might try and get your chin a bit closer to your shin. So rather than nodding down too much, so you can keep that length in your back. And you might, right at the end, just let your head fall and see if it goes close to your knee or your shin. And then draw yourself back, lengthening. I'm going to do a slightly twisted version of this. Bring this hand behind you and the other one here. Lift up. I'm going to take that breath. Breathe in, breathe out, and go to the other side of your foot. So it's like little toe side of your foot. And then come up and over like a big rainbow and back. Breathing in, breathing out. I might put a bit of pressure into my fingers here just to hold myself in space. And back down. Last one, breathe in, up and over. Hold on to the outside of your foot here. Move this back and look at that back hand. So now I've got a twist and I've got much more of a sort of pulling sensation around the left side for you, but the right side of me. Coming around the corner. Bring yourself back up. We're just going to do that on the other side. I'm not going to do too many sequences here. We're going to bring ourselves back, monitor in this middle place before we go back and do the same thing on the other side. Foot to your thigh, sitting up nice and tall.
So first of all, just walk your hands and see where you get to. A nice long back, coming here, hinging forward. I'm going to spin myself sideways, just so you can see from the side. You don't need to move. So you're here, and try and keep from my head to my tail long, and hinge forward here. Looking at my toe. Try and keep a long spine. And then come up, and then try the opposite. See what it feels like. Just nod your head down, round your back. Your head down a bit closer to your knee. Come up. Do your first version again, and grab hold somewhere, and stay long. Stay there for a few breaths. And then, with that sense of length, then nod your head down. See if your head will touch your leg, or be closer to your leg than it was. Lift yourself up. Bring yourself long. I'm going to spin myself back around so that this makes a bit more sense. Reaching back behind you. Planting these fingers down. Breathing in. Up over the top. Come to the wrong side of your foot, or the little toe side of your foot. Breathing in as we rise. Breathing out as we lower. Breathing in. Lengthen like you're painting on a big canvas. Coming back down to the wrong side of your foot. Lifting up and coming down. So keeping a bit of motion through your body can help it to release, lengthen. So it's called fascia, all these connective tissues. Move this hand back. So what you're doing here, you can feel, I hope, all the way up your arm, all the way down your leg, all the way to connecting here. Reaching here. Look back to this hand and get your ear closer to your shin. And then coming up. A nice big stretch out there. Our back and the backs of our legs. Have a little rock and side to side. Lift up nice and long. And we're going to bring ourselves to our back surface. So bring yourself down. So just a few poses on the floor there. So we did one that stretched the front of the leg when we're in pigeon. Did that, let's stretch the back of the leg. Other things going on as well. We're going to come down onto the back. And we're going to think about getting a bit of rotation in our hip here, a bit like pigeon. We call this reclining pigeon. You put your ankle over your knee, thread through and grab hold of the back of your thigh and draw this in and rock from side to side. So I always say this is a kind of, for me, an essential before I go to sleep. Sort out your back. Rock from side to side. Draw that knee in. Breathe here. So we might take 3 to 5 breaths in each place and just hold it, or have a little bit of a move and sway. And then bring that foot down to the floor. This one, you're going to stick up towards the ceiling. Grab hold of your thigh, and you can just massage the back of your leg a little bit. Use the flat of your hands, and so you can scoop up the back of your leg and grab hold somewhere and draw it in towards you. So I'm keeping this leg bent, I'm keeping this one fairly straight, and draw it in. If you feel like you can get hold of your toe, you can do that. This is a handy little hook, 2 fingers around your big toe, and then you can just stay nicely flopped into the floor holding onto that. You might just move it a little bit to the open side. You can counterbalance that with opening that other knee to the side. Doesn't need to go far, just take it a little journey over there. And then bring it back. Swap hands, take it a little journey over the other way. Let the other knee fall in, so you cross your legs a little bit. And then bring it back in. Last one, you're going to bend that knee, get right close to your body, hold onto it, and lengthen the other leg away. So this is called wind releasing posture. Lovely name. Draw it in, squeeze it tight. Do one more, a little reclining twist here. Take the knee across until it comes down on the wrong side of the body. So your toes tap down. This hand's going to reach up high, and you're going to take that nice, big, long stretch. Look to that hand, spiraling around, wringing out your body. Bit of a weird thing to think about, but imagine what's going on in your organs, your guts, your belly. You might get a gurgle.
Bring yourself back. So when we do yoga, it's not just about our bones and our joints and our muscles. It's also about our organs and our digestive system and our heart and our lungs. A bit of everything. We do all those on the other side. So now I'm going to cross my left ankle over my knee, thread through, hold on to my thigh, draw it in. Have that little rock. So if I rush the second side, we're just going to rock from side to side, conscious of time. Try to move nice and slowly and consistently. You're going to allow that foot to come back down to the floor and lengthen this one up towards the ceiling. Take hold of your leg, use your flat hands, a bit of massage on the back of your leg. And then slide your hands up and hold on. Keeping this dropping into the floor, keeping your hips nice and square and solid in your back. You might, as I say, be able to hold your big toe. That might mean bending your knee a bit. You might be able to keep it extended. So if you have a sock or a scarf, you can put something around your foot. If it's not within reach, you can hold on with something else here. I just about reach my toe here, and then I'm going to open my leg to the side and counterbalance with the opposite knee so I don't fall over. Doesn't need to go far, just a little bit of an opening and a closing action, and then swap hands and take it across and let your knee come in and your foot drift across that way. So you feel the stretch in different places. Bring yourself back in line, and then you're going to bend at that knee and lengthen this one out. Squeeze it tight. Good for your digestion, this one. Release the pressure a little bit, and then we're going to go into that spiral. Send the knee over. This hand's going to come to the floor and reach to the diagonal over here. So we get this nice long line coming all the way up the arm, across the chest, and all the way through the belly on this side. So we're aiming, if there's an aim, there's never a finish or an end point. There's always progress. It'd be very boring if we could just do everything perfectly first time. There's no perfect in yoga. It's all just a journey or a bit of play. Bring yourself back onto your back surface. Bring both knees in. Squeeze them tight. So two little postures here. Feet together like we did when we were seated. We call it cobblers. You're holding onto your feet. You can lift your head out whilst you grab your feet. Send your knees out wide, and then see if you can get your head back down on the floor whilst keeping the base of your spine on the floor. Draw your feet in close and your knees wide. Root yourself down, shoulders away from your ears. And the last one, this is one of my favourites. It's a very ugly little pose. Happy baby. Hold on to your feet, and you can play it drawing one knee towards the armpit and the other one towards the armpit. This is very good for your lower back and also your kidneys. And so kind of get massaged into the floor here. So roll and play. Make it playful. Feel what happens in the whole back. And then release your feet. Best pose of them all. Splat. Bit of pressure into the back of your head. Lift your shoulders off the floor. Shrug them down. So your shoulder blades slide into your back. Flatten to the floor. And then yawn. And come back to that breath. That elongated breath. But also, just try here as you lie here doing that little breath retention. Breathe in through your nose. Hold your breath on full. And then breathe out through your mouth. And the breath out might be a bit faster than the breath in. So you're just sighing the breath away. Breathe in through your nose. Hold your breath. And then just breathe out. Hear your breath escape from the body. Do as many of those as you want. Stay there as long as you want. start to move somewhere. Take a stretch in the yawn and bring yourself back. To sit up. So there we go, mostly seated poses today. Hopefully a way of chilling out, so you can use this video in an evening. You've had a bit of a stressful day. Good way just to reset, let go, forget about your day. Thank you.